Master. Kane Elkin.
Master.
Yeah. Formerly Master.
Yeah, I'm not anymore.
Formerly.
The Jedi Master, though.
Jedi Master.
Yeah. Yeah, Jedi Master.
Actually, I was a Padawan, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
my
right.
bad.
That's
My
right.
bad.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, straight from the homeland, you know?
Yeah.
Straight from the motherland.
The OG.
The OG. Yeah. Yeah. This is a fun way to open this podcast. Does Thanksgiving make you upset or not really usually?
Why would Thanksgiving? 4th of July is not the best, but I mean, that's why I'm never here for 4th of July. You always go home.
Yeah. No.
Nah.
No.
No, we don't care.
I understand.
It's do you know how many people, Americans, have asked me, do you celebrate 4th of July?
Yeah, that's a foolish one.
Yeah, of course we do. What?
Yeah, we all go to we all go in front of the palace and cry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a really morbid procession,
Yeah.
but it's no.
So
it's
you've
fine.
never been in America for 4th of July before?
No.
Whoa, that's interesting.
No, I mean I go home,
But not
I
about
understand, but I just
not
mean,
about you don't. Do you like fireworks, blowing stuff up, hot dogs and stuff?
Yeah, but we have a night like that
Oh,
of
you
our
do?
own in England. It's November 5th, which sadly I haven't been there for the last 4 years.
What is it for?
It's Guy Fawkes night. It's when we fool the guy, or not fool the guy, but a guy called Guy Fawkes. He went to the bottom of Parliament, which is our government building, and tried to blow it up. And we caught him before he did. That's why it's still standing. And then we celebrate that every night with burning an effigy of him. Or every night, every November 5th.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, you burn it, fireworks, bonfires, blow shit up.
Hot dogs or no hot dogs?
I mean, no.
No
So
hot dogs.
what is your go-to cookout food in England?
Do you have that over there?
Yeah, do y'all grill out?
Yeah, but it's the same. It's pretty much the same. It's
Burgers?
Yes, but the things that change are, the sides.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not
Mac
doing
and cheese ain't big.
No French fries or French fries are
French fries, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no, we don't call them French fries.
you call them chips? I know.
Chips.
Fish
yeah.
and chips is one of the
but
best
they're
dishes.
They're so good.
Dude, one of my favorites.
But it's like a fatter.
Yeah.
You have oven cut chips. Which
It's like a steak fry, which
So
I'm not a
exactly.
fan of.
So you don't do mac and cheese.
It's not that we don't do mac and cheese. It's just not like a big thing that you put on the side of cookouts and
Oh, my girlfriend would be so
barbecues.
sad if she went there.
Yeah, no, a lot of Americans are sad when they go there. Listen, I love our food.
Yeah.
And what we do. A lot of the world shits on our food. And they think we're fucking weird for.
Meat pies.
They're so good.
But that's a weird thing, though.
How is that weird?
Explain
Well,
explain that to me. I don't know what that
It's
is.
just a pie.
It's like a chicken pot pie, but with
Any meat in it. You can
Any
put what you
meat.
want in it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's the problem with that?
Well, nothing's the problem with that. It's just kind of a weird concept, kind of, from a state's perspective. Because whenever I think of a pie, I'm thinking of an apple pie. And so if I bit,
We have those too.
but if I bit into a pie that looked like an apple pie, and then there was
With
there was some lamb in there,
lamb.
I'd be bummed out.
Oh, don't get
You
me
know?
started on lamb. Lamb's
You know?
so good.
Lamb chops, bro.
But I'm also not the biggest fan of overly hearty stuff like that.
That's fair.
Really heavy. That would just make me. My favorite food is Mexican food, and you don't really like that. I love Mexican food.
I'm Mexican fooded out.
Well,
I think that's why, because I came here and the only walkable restaurant was Monterey's.
sure, yeah.
And it's,
Mhm.
it's 5 minutes down the road.
I'm big into. I don't even know why I call it American food, because I know that there's no such thing
Yeah.
as American
No, there
food.
is.
But that's
But,
kind of
like-
it's kind of cool that
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
like
exist, you know.
but like a steak and some French
Oh,
fries.
yeah. I mean, we have that in
Oh,
England too. That's
yeah.
good.
It's so
It's
good.
nothing better than a steak.
It's like-
But do you know what our number one dish, the national dish in England is?
Sausage roll.
No.
Dang it.
It should be, but no. What do you reckon? I want you to keep going. I
I
want some
don't know,
guesses.
Mushy peas.
No. Cost that much. That's a big thing over there.
I know some people are fans.
I don't know. I'm gonna
Nando's.
No. Nando's is great.
They don't have them over here. Really.
like a
come to Nando's
crumpet,
just for
like
that.
a
No,
like
again,
a
very
biscuit.
solid food.
you
These are
know?
very solid options as to what they should be, but they're not. The number one dish, the national dish of England, is called a chicken tikka masala.
Oh, I knew that
It's an
because
Indian, it's a curry.
I knew that because Matt Damon and his girlfriend or whatever wife. Wait,
I don't know much about Matt Damon.
Emily, whatever her name is. They were in a movie together. She's British.
Emily Blunt.
Yes. She's
Yeah.
British, and she said that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But the guy, I mean, everyone goes on about, oh, we have Indian food, but the guy that made the chicken tikka masala isn't chicken tikka masala. Fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it's actually not in India. Like, it's not. It didn't come from India. It came from a
Right.
guy that was Indian.
Yeah.
That lived in England, and he made it his Indian fast food or takeout shop.
Yeah, it's like our Italian restaurants.
Or it's like our
It's
Mexican
like,
food.
it's like,
Kind of,
yeah, it's
yeah.
like
I'd
it's
say
not,
more
it's
Mexican.
Not, it's not authentic, you know.
Yeah, but you don't get any authentic stuff until you go to Italy.
Right.
When I tell you the difference between Italian food and westernized Italian food and food people that try and replicate it, I don't know what they put in it.
I think it's just better ingredients. I
but
really think it's
so good.
Better ingredients,
They
better
just
pizza.
know. Yeah,
Papa
the pizza's
John's.
insane.
Yeah.
But they've never. I mean, they would cry if they saw the pizza in this country. They'd cry if they saw the pizza in England, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's just it's
One of my favorite kinds of food is like American Italian food, like strombolis and
yeah.
stuff like that.
yeah. You can't
Like
go
stuff that
wrong
you,
with
stuff that
Italian.
you would like watch a football game with. Like that's
Yeah.
my favorite kind of like one of my favorite kinds of food.
It's like you
Watch a
can mimic it as
football
much as you
game.
want. There's certain foods.
You know what I mean? Like buffalo wings.
Oh,
Like you
Yeah.
would be
Got
able
it.
to get like buffalo wings and a stromboli at the same restaurant, like those
Yeah.
kinds of restaurants.
Like I think there's certain foods that you can mimic as much as you want. You can try and mimic it, and you can do it so badly, but it's still so good.
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
Pasta's one of those things.
Totally.
Like you can royally fuck up a pasta,
Hmm.
but it'll still be good.
Yeah.
It's still like nice pasta,
Yeah, as long as the sauce isn't terrible, you're in good shape.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think food's an important part of happiness, and I think that's why a lot of British people and Americans are quite on the decline of happiness right now,
Hmm.
and that's a genuine belief of mine.
Mm.
That and weather. So English people are fucked.
Yeah. Depends on where you are in the States.
and we are today.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are today. Yeah,
It's
you must
worse.
feel at home.
Worse.
I know, right?
You
This
must
is
feel at
great.
home.
This is great. I'm so excited to go back to
Yeah,
this.
we were talking about we were like walking over here, and this is the first day all semester that we've been on campus that it's been raining.
Yeah, because we parked in Kettner
Oh,
for the first time.
damn.
You
Yeah.
know,
I parked right outside the library.
good move. Well,
Yeah.
we had journalism before this, so
Oh, fair.
yeah. But yeah, because normally we park where we park,
Mm.
and I was like, I texted Caleb and I was like, "There's spots in Kettner. Do not park at the community center. You're gonna be walking in just the snow, walking in the rain." Yeah,
No, it's horrible. I
Yeah.
walked out today in my clogs,
yeah.
and I was like, I walked out the door, and my girlfriend was like, "Isn't it raining?" I was like, "No way, is it raining?"
It hasn't rained in a while.
Yeah, and I was like, "Can I take your car?" Bearing in mind, I live on campus, right?
Right.
And I was
Yeah,
like, "Can I please
like
take your car?"
I don't even know how far away. Not far away.
What,
like,
from where I live
From
to the
where you
library?
live to the library, yeah.
Probably takes what, 5 minutes to walk in?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, it's a small campus.
Yeah.
Probably do it a little bit quicker. But I just wasn't going to wear these shoes. I thought I'll just take the car.
Good move.
She bribed. She made me an ultimatum. I wasn't allowed to take her car unless I go get a coffee after this. So
Oh, deal. Easy.
I grab her a coffee, but she can wait for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, after the podcast is done,
Yeah.
she could definitely wait.
She's definitely going to watch this. She's gonna watch
So, speaking of small campus,
Yes.
how do you end up in a place like this? We've talked about this briefly, but
Yeah, so many people ask me that.
I'm super. Well, the reason why I want to ask you that, and the reason why it's interesting to me, is because this is our hometown.
Mm.
Like this is where we went to high school, basically.
Yeah, but you have to remember it's not mine.
I know.
So to me,
I know.
America is America, right? Like to Americans, there's so many different parts of America.
Yeah.
To me, America is America. And then I think with Catawba, I got some offers from some really cool places and some big schools. Big schools.
And what is it? Like, they just send you letters and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're an international, you can either just apply directly for schools, like the same way you would. But when you're an athlete, like I came in playing tennis, you hire an agent. So I have this woman, her name's Pippa. She finds me schools, right? Like, so I do this tennis video and I write a little bio about myself. I send it to her and she sends it off to a load of schools, pretty much to all schools, right? So she assesses where she thinks your level is and, you know, where you should be playing. And she sends it off, and then if they like you, they reach out to you. And then you do interviews and all this stuff with the coaches. And pretty much if you get an interview from the coach, unless you're going to an Ivy League school, you get into the school.
Mm.
The school will accept you if this coach is like, I want this guy. So I'm not to say I wouldn't have gone to this school if I had just applied. But no, the coach here reached out to me. I was meant to start in August of 2019. But then my mum got sick just before that. So she's fine now. But I stayed off for a semester, and I was really worried because I thought, well, no school's going to accept me after this, or not even after this, but like the schools I did have offers for, they'll probably rescind them, and a lot of them did. A lot of them said, well, you know, we need you to start in August. If you can't start in August, then we need to give this scholarship to someone else, especially because there was no guarantee that I was coming anyway. So all those other schools did that, and then, but Catawba was still probably one of my best choices. And the coach offered honoured his offer, and was like, well, it's not your fault that this has happened, so whenever you decide to come, the offer's there. So that was a big part of it. I fell in love with the coach, and then he left after my first semester. Got sent home COVID. Was very close to dropping out, but I stuck it through. I've really enjoyed it. I like it, and like I said, I got offers from big schools. You're talking schools with 67,000 students.
Yeah.
You can figure out which one that is, but it's such a big school, and I enjoyed partying before I came to college, and I knew that if I went to a school like that, I'd either wouldn't graduate because I wouldn't do well in tennis, or I'd die, right, being stupid at these big schools.
None of those are good options.
No, right?
Not really, no.
But it is, and it's not even that. It's like I like the idea of knowing everyone. I like people. I like being friends with loads of people, and I wanted this big, massive, not massive friend group, but like massive community that I knew, and everyone knew me, and we could all hang out, and I could hang out with anyone. So I was also homeschooled my entire life, so that's going there to
in London too, for the sake of the audience.
Yes,
yeah,
in London. To make up for sport, I did tennis, gymnastics, all that stuff. So like going from that to then a massive school, terrifying. So I wanted a smaller school. Catawba, as much as we find it easy, is academically quite a good school.
Yeah.
It's a good school to have in your resume and your...
Yeah, that's what... Yeah, my sister, she graduated from here last year, and she was like, everyone who I've talked to says that, like, people love hiring kids who graduate from Catawba College.
All you have to do is go on LinkedIn, right? Go on LinkedIn and then look up these crazy places. And you'd think for such a small school you wouldn't find anyone. The amount of alumni I've found at these insane companies.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a really good school, and so that's why I ended up here. And I've enjoyed it. And it was, I was told it was just outside of Charlotte, which I guess it is. Not when you don't have a car.
There's no tube. No tube.
So that's fun. Salisbury is a little bit boring. But Gobo is fun. Gobo on a Saturday night is fun. And that's pretty much what I did in my entire first 3 years. Then I got a girlfriend and I don't go out anymore. Not because she makes me. Just to reiterate that. She doesn't make me
blink
not
twice
go
if you
out.
need help, Kane.
In fact, I'm actually the one that always tries to convince her not to go out. I just don't know. I did it so much.
Yeah, you slowed down.
I did it so much. I was just like... Oh. And then, obviously, because I started a semester after everyone, all of my best mates left. Like, all of the people that I, were my year, freshman, at the same time I was freshman.
Got you.
All
All of your
roommates,
classmates.
everyone's gone. And so now I feel like I've got my girlfriend and I've got a couple of close friends here. But everyone's so busy.
Yeah. Especially like upperclassmen, like how we are now. Like, everybody has real stuff.
Do you know what
I mean? We've been doing a documentary.
Exactly.
It's a real thing.
And so...
It's not just like a paper.
So I guess now I don't particularly mind about being in Salisbury, but before it was hard. Yeah. It was tough. And I went to Charlotte a lot, and I went, house parties, and I don't think the teams do it as much anymore. I could be completely wrong. Maybe I just don't hear about it. But I used to be the guy that everyone came to and was like, "Oh, was there a party this weekend?" It's like I was throwing parties. Never thrown one in my life.
Right.
Yeah. But everyone used to come to me and be like, "Oh, is there a party tonight? Can I come with you so I'll get in?" Like, because like I said, I know everyone, and that was the whole point. And I had friends on to be friends with anyone. And I had friends with anyone, and they, I'd come with me, and I'd be like, "Yeah, this person's cool. They can come in." And
right.
Even though I barely knew them, I'd be like, "It's a party." That's what I don't understand about America and their parties and college parties is how they like, "No, you can't come in. It's a party. You've got 100 people in here anyway. You're not going to know it's one person just because." I understand if the ratio's off if we want to start talking about that. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that that's why they're partying is the big difference between UK and or the Europe in general. No one cares about that in Europe. As long as you're having a good time of drinking. Who cares?
Yeah.
So no, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm grateful to be here.
It's just interesting how you come from a place like you can come from a place like London and then end up in a place like this. Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just the dichotomy is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I think is interesting too is everybody that I've ever met that's on the tennis team is from a different place too. You have a very
Americans don't play much tennis. Not at D2 level anyway. You either have really amazing tennis players
Mm-hmm.
and like top of the line tennis players, or like
Yeah. The guys that play the country club who like eat cheeseburgers.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I think there's there's a big difference. But I find it in a lot of your sports. A
Yeah.
lot of unless they're like American grown sports like baseball,
Football.
football, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most other sports are international.
Yeah.
Oh, track and field is very American.
Yeah.
Track's very American. But no, tennis, we have 17 countries.
Yeah. Which is super interesting,
within
I
our
think.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more, yeah, and there's always a battle. I'm the only Brit. I'm the only British person. I used to be one of three. One of three? Yeah, one of three. So it changes all the time, but very rarely do we get Americans. We have 2 Americans right now. 3 Americans right now. 4 Americans right now.
Ooh.
Oh, growing.
Keep getting better.
Right? 4 Americans.
You know what I'm saying?
Could be more than
Make it 5.
I think there's 4. I think there's 4 Americans. I think there's 4 Americans on the team. I'm not gonna name them just in case I forget one of them. But I'm pretty sure we have 4.
So you're a photographer.
I am a photographer.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Because you love photography.
I do love photography.
And I think I do too. And I think he's coming around to it.
Ooh.
It's not like I never didn't.
He can't because he only shoots Sony.
I like looking at it.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
be a
So
real,
I'm
be a real
a
photographer with Sony. I'm just saying.
I'm a huge.
Good thing I'm a cinematographer.
I-
Filmmaker, buddy.
I love photography history.
Okay.
And I don't know how much you know about it.
Okay.
Well, no. I don't like. I don't
Ask me who my favorite photographer is. And
Well, no,
history.
no.
From 1890.
yeah.
That's not. No, I just wanted like everyone to know that I love photography.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, and you do too.
I do.
And so yeah, like how did it start for you? Like when did you pick up a camera? You know, like all that kind of stuff. Because like if you've never seen Kane's work, go check him out.
The link's in the
Like,
description.
Yeah, links in the description for his website, Instagram, all that stuff. So check out his work. It's incredible. So yeah, like when did it start?
Actually, it started like I was very lucky. I was about 12, 13, maybe even younger. I didn't have a camera. I've never touched a camera, whatever, at this point. And I went for a walk with my dogs and my mum, dad, and my mum and dad, and my granddad. And he brought his camera. And I can't remember what it was. I think it was a small Canon digital camera with a nice zoom kit lens on it. And we were walking around this estuary, and they brought out an owl. It was flying around, this owl, and everyone could go and watch and look at it. And it was this big thing that we all went and watched. And I was taking pictures of this owl. And when I tell you, I mean, this sounds like made up, but like the first picture I went was a dime that I'd put on my. If I still had the file, and if he shot in RAW, I would have it on my portfolio. Like it was just perfect. I was probably on full auto, probably. But it was beautiful. It was just this owl sitting on this little thing, and from that moment, it was a fairy tale moment of just like, no, I fell in love with photography. I was like, no way can I do this. No way is that like a photography thing. I showed it to my family, and they were like, oh my god, like how did you take that?
Right.
And I think you get the praise, and you get the, oh my god, this is really good and really amazing. You kind of just get addicted to that. In no way am I saying I always get praise that for my photos, but yeah, no. So that's kind of how it started, and then I was begging my parents. Like, I mean, we didn't have all the money in the world, so it's not like I had the best camera straight away. So I was begging for this camera, and they were like, Christmas coming up, and maybe get one for, a cheaper one for birthday and Christmas, whatever. So I got one. I got a Canon D3000, I think it was. Was it 3000 or 300? It was tiny. I mean, this thing was tiny, but a DSLR. 2 kit lenses, 18-55 and a 70, 100 to 300, I think it was.
Oh, good focal length.
Yeah.
Got some zoom on there.
And I loved it, and I took it everywhere, and I take pictures around my little village and my little town. And yeah, I started playing with everything and anything. I've never had a photography lesson. I've never done anything. I've learned through pretty much myself, because I didn't really know what YouTube was back then. I didn't really ever do that. I was always playing tennis or studying, so I never had time for any of that stuff. So I pretty much just like pressed every button on the camera and see what it did, and then figure it out from there. That's probably still how I learn most. yeah, from there, I think my dad moved away, and he moved to a different country, and he told me to look at. He sent me this video of this tutorial of this one particular photography YouTuber, who I'm sure you have no idea who he is, and his name's Peter McKinnon.
Never heard of him.
What?
No, right? I know, yeah. And no, he sent me this video, and it was just this little just a little tutorial thing. It was like, you should watch this guy. This guy seems fun. He seems cool to watch it. And so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I don't watch YouTube, but fine, I'll watch it. And I've watched every single video since. I'll tell you that right now. I wait for his videos to come out. And yeah, so I've watched every video of his, and that kind of led into other things and realizing that YouTube's actually a really good tool.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really thankful that I never went to photography school, or I never went to, because that was a big, that was an option of mine, was to go to photography school and to go to an art school or whatever. And I'm really glad that I didn't, because I think it really limits you. I don't want to be taught how to do art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, because that's all photography is for me, regardless of what photography you're doing, what you're taking pictures of, it's art. So yeah, so that's pretty much where it started. It came from. Then people started noticing me a little bit more. I've never been big on social media. I've just been word of mouth stuff. That's all I've ever done, is word of mouth and connections. Not a big fan of social media. But then again, it never hurts to have social media following.
Mm-mm.
But I think I've only got 150 followers. But I've deleted it about 4 times. Keep deleting it every.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a profession. I'm a professional photographer, because since I've done paid gigs and artwork, but then I've been watching this. There's a photojournalism is kind of what I then decided I wanted to do. I started photographing protests and stuff like that, and I've really enjoyed that, repertoire and stuff like that. And then there's a guy called Dan Milner. He's American. He lives in New Mexico, and he's a film photographer. He was. I think he shoots on an XT4 now. Not one of these, but the old one of these.
Sure.
And his work's really is good. I'm not saying I'm a massive fan of his work, but just what he has to say is really good, and I recommend anyone that wants to get into photography or that kind of photography watches him, because he's very honest with his truths. And he just kind of made me realize that no one gives a shit about social media, and if that's the job you want, no one cares. So I went into that, did a deep dive into what was I saying? Journalism, photojournalism. And he, that guy, he mentioned, well, you're not, just being paid for photography does not make you a professional photographer, which is fine, but there is no definition of a professional photographer. There's no qualifications that you need to be a professional photographer.
Yeah.
But then I got, I got a little bit of my work published. I did a Black Lives Matter protest, got that published, got paid for it, but I donated it all. That was over here, actually, which is really funny. It was published over here. Then the school tried to commission me for some work, and that obviously fell through. So yeah, I'd consider myself a professional photographer. Maybe a semi-professional photographer is probably slightly more accurate now, because I do it pretty much more for fun, as opposed to, while I'm in college, there's not much I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started, and that's where I am now. But I love photography. I love it. It's my child. My camera. I baby this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You just switched.
I need another one.
Switched.
I did.
Another one. Yeah.
I did just switch.
Yeah. Yeah. Kane did previously use the biggest camera ever made. He was actually shooting photos on a C70. So that was pretty crazy. No, he was shooting on a 1DX.
Yeah.
And
that thing's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, that camera. I actually did all my Black Lives Matter shoot was on that, obviously, because you've seen when I've got this. It's really nice, but it's just huge.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do, if I'm going to do journalism, I can't lug that thing around with me everywhere. And then I always want 2 bodies. I'm going to want a second one if I'm going to do it professionally, in case that one screws up, and then what do I do?
Right. Or 2 focal lengths.
Yeah, and 2 focal lengths, whatever. And I have 2 Canon 1Ds. But I can't take 2 of them with me everywhere.
Yeah, you're going to get some back problems.
Back problems, and traveling is the worst thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
As in, just going through security.
Mm-hmm.
Take everything out. both
yeah?
cameras. And they're like, why have you got these two cameras?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like, because a lot of photojournalists, they talk about it and they go, well, you know, you're getting stopped. A lot of countries don't want you to photograph them. If you're going there to take photographs of a war or a conflict, they don't want you to take photos of that.
Yeah.
And it used to be the opposite. They used to be like, oh, raise awareness, whatever. Like, yeah, so everyone now is different because everyone's got a camera and everyone's got a phone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things are different. But man, the Fujifilm is where it at. That's it.
Yeah, Kane should be a brand ambassador for real. He speaks
I
highly.
love it. When I tell you, I fell in love with Fujifilm before I even got my hands on a Fujifilm camera. Just the colors, man. I see pictures and photographs of people that use these cameras, and just the colors are insane.
I mean, I know that that's true. We've seen some of the insane stuff out of it. Yeah, the film sim's unbelievable.
The film sims are lovely.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you can shoot those and shoot RAW.
Mm.
And then in Lightroom, built in is these film simulations,
Yeah.
which I found out the other day.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just put in a RAW and then you then have a RAW with this film simulation, which is great.
Yeah.
And I also started shooting film a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of what then drew me more to Fujifilm, was like, film's getting way more expensive. It's expensive anyway, just to develop film 24/7.
It's also like, it's inconvenient. It's
Exactly.
just awesome.
And it depends on what you want to do. If you're doing architectural photography or landscape photography, and you walk around with a film camera, that's fine. You can set it up on a tripod, you can focus, you can light meter, you can do all of that. If you want to walk around the streets and take street photography pictures, you've got 36 frames. So unless you've got 10 rolls with you, you can't, you don't have the freedom. And I think part of what makes good photos is having the freedom to just take the photo. And the best film photographers in the world, in my opinion, some of the best photographers in the world, you know, Alex Webb, Winogrand, people like this. These guys, they walk around, and some of the newcomers up as well. I mean, you watch, I don't know if you know Paulie B is. So Paulie B does, he does these things called walkie-talkies on YouTube. They're great. You should watch them. And he walks around with like film photographers or photographers in general, and he just interviews them while they're taking photos. And there's one with Trevor Wisecup. Guy's great. Like, he's funny. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's aggressive, but he flashing people's faces. And this guy goes through like 5 rolls in like 25 minutes.
Nice.
And it's like, well, you know, but he says, I've got no money in my bank account. You know, as much as I love the dedication towards the art, that's great, and I aspire to have that kind of passion for it.
But come on, man.
Christ.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how can I have nothing in my bank account just so I can take 36 more rolls of photos? So digital was always the way to go for me.
Yeah.
And I think that my always thing is, like, you talk about like, oh, there's a lot of film photographers that go, digital photography is not real photography. Real photography is film. And I asked the question that their favourite photographers, their favourite film photographers, if you offered them in the 1960s a digital camera, that is what it does now, do you think they would ever say no?
Of course not.
Not a chance. These people,
as long as you give them a computer too.
Exactly. These
And like an SD card.
I don't even think they'd say no. I think they'll just go around showing people their back
On
of
the
their
back.
camera. No, but these photographers, I mean, the reason they're like, yeah, but see, these real photographers use film. That's because digital wasn't a thing then.
Yeah.
But if it was, I guarantee you they would have used digital, because it just makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that it's good.
And yeah, but now that it's good, now people want to go back to film.
Yeah.
And the same thing's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to go back to film. Film's going to be this big craze and this huge thing, and then it's going to be, well, everyone does film.
Yeah.
So let me go digital.
Back to digital. Yeah.
And then it goes back to digital, and then it's like, well, it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
And that's why I just don't want to get sucked in anymore. And I got sucked into the film thing, 100%. I was lucky enough. My granddad is the source of all my cameras, apparently, or my camera, my photography stuff. He gave me his Minolta 303 SRT, beautiful camera, from the 70s, and you know, and from there I was like, oh, now I need to get loads of rolls of films. I got loads of rolls of Portra 400, Portra 800. Just finished it actually, and they've just spiked the price of everything. So now I don't know if I'm going to get any more, but I think I'm going to commit to black and white photography only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even digitally.
Yeah.
Ooh. No more Kodak Gold. You love Kodak Gold?
I do love Kodak Gold. But no, I think the film simulation actually, like the Kodak Gold film simulation and the recipe that I put in, is great, and it looks good, but it doesn't look like Kodak Gold.
Oh yeah, like actual out of the camera. Yeah,
it
because
doesn't look
Kodak Gold out of a film camera is very warm.
I mean, that one's warm too.
Yeah, but I mean like yellow,
orange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that I can take this camera around with me everywhere is the nicest thing.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're gonna miss about your 1DX, like that camera system specifically? Like anything that you can kind of think of that maybe people wouldn't think of or whatever?
Battery life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
1DX batteries never die.
And if they do, you've literally not charged it for like a year.
Oh yeah.
It depends how you use it. Like some
course.
people turn their camera on and leave their camera on. I can't do that.
Yeah. Neither.
Mine
of
goes
mine.
on and off every time.
Yeah.
Which I understand has its downsides because I might miss a couple of moments, but I'd rather that than my camera die
All the
3 hours
time.
earlier.
Yeah.
So I'll miss that. I'll miss all my lenses that I have for it. Can't use those anymore. The buffer speeds. I mean, I can take this one. Takes more photos a second for sure, but once I do one burst, I can't take another one for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I miss that. Do I need that for street photography? And
No.
no.
You gonna miss Canon menus?
I prefer the Fujifilm ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They're way more simple. There's no quick menu on a Canon. I mean, I guess there is, but there isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's annoying. I don't know what else I'd miss actually. Yeah, I love Canon, and I used to swear by Canon, and I guess I still do a little bit.
You do.
For professional work,
Yeah.
yes. If I was doing studio work, I'd probably prefer a Canon. I just feel like you have a little bit more control. But then with this, all the buttons and the dials and all that stuff, that's great.
Yeah.
It's great stuff.
Yeah. And it looks sick.
And then, do you know what the weird thing is? I miss the handle.
I like the big fat grip.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever held this one, but the handle just...
Yeah.
Try imagine holding that all day.
Yeah, it's a little on the skinny side.
And then they market it as like a small pocketable camera, and it's not. Okay, obviously they don't, but like it's a small camera that you can take everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, if you don't like the grip, you can change the grip and just put a hand grip on it.
Yeah, sure you can.
But then that's like a bit of,
Yeah.
adds a little bit that much to the bottom, adds a lot more to the side. But it's now a bigger camera.
Yeah.
So I guess I just keep it around my neck and just
Yeah. Hold it when you have to.
let it hang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't ever care about what a camera looks like.
Like the
Who
actual
gives
body
a crap
of it.
what a camera
Yeah.
looks like, right? But then I got this.
And it's stunning.
Oh my, it's beautiful. It's lovely. And then I've fallen in love with the X Pro 3 now.
Oh,
That
yeah.
thing looks gorgeous too, so I'm thinking about that as a second body.
Yeah.
If
You could get the one that's medium format if you want. $5,000
What
bucks.
do you need medium format for?
Especially a digital.
Digital medium format, what is the point?
A
That's my whole
Hasselblad
thing.
camera is pretty beautiful.
They are, but have you seen people try and take photos with those cameras?
Yeah, I've watched the
Oh
YouTube
my
videos.
god, it's a whole rigmarole just to get one frame out of the camera. Like,
Yeah.
No, it's not for me. I like something that's just really easy to use. Yeah, 40 megapixels is great, but I mean, what am I zooming in for? You know what I mean?
35 millimeters.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually not. I'm at 50. I know this is a sort of APS-C. So,
Yeah.
but I think I try and get the photo as good as I can out of camera, right, and in camera. So I don't need to crop too much. I could easily survive with 26 megapixels, and that's why I think the X Pro 3 is 26 megapixels. I think, and that as a second body is great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But no, there's not much I will miss from the Canons. To go back to your question.
Yeah. Yeah. What is like, do you have a favorite photo that you've taken?
Yes. No.
Because I would imagine that would be difficult for you.
Yes. For each situation.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say that?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite photo, I guess, if I had to pick one photo ever, it's not my seagull one, unfortunately. It's probably the Black Lives Matter one I did with the kid and the guy's shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the luckiest and best photo I think I've ever taken, for sure. I mean, it's just stunning, and it sucks in color. It's awful in color. I didn't realize. I think I see the world in black and white now, right? Like, so when I take pictures in black and white, I try and see it in black and white. So I don't take it and notice the color at all, really, when I'm just trying to shoot black and white. And I didn't realize that the sign is actually like has like loads of specks of orange over it, and the sign's not actually white and black. And so that blew my mind, and I think it looks awful. But in black and white, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
If
so
I do say
good.
so myself, it's insane. And I spent days editing it. I mean, days. And I still edit it to this day. Every now and then I go back to the raw file and I'm just like, let me try again.
Yeah.
And then I've got to try, I've got 4 different edits for depending on what paper I want to print out on. I still haven't printed it. I'm still trying to pick what I want to print it on. I can't decide. The biggest thing for me is I can't decide on glossy or matte for the paper. I can't decide. I don't know. And people have tried to tell me which one to get, and I just don't listen because I know it needs to be me that makes that decision. But that's probably my favorite all-around photo. But then, I mean, you're talking about sports. I've got a photo of a guy dunking over a guy's head.
Yeah, that
Or
was
like
iconic.
Maybe that American flag photo from the football game.
Yeah, no, that's a good photo. I just overexposed it tremendously.
But it's sick,
In the top. It's still nice. It still looks great.
Yeah.
And it's up there.
It's a cool photo.
It's up there. But I think the one of the guy jumping over the guy's head is just insane.
That was so sick.
Yeah. It's insane, that photo. And that was everywhere. That was on T-shirts, boards. Genuinely, like 2 basketball games later, that was on people's T-shirts. So like that's insane.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So for sports, probably that one. For film, again, it's a different category. So like for film, I have this one of like, it's on my road. It's this white building. It's like an old school building. And then the sun is hitting one and then it's not on the other. And it matches perfectly. All these photos are on my website.
Yes, links in the description.
So yeah, I've got loads. The silhouette one of Shanice.
Yeah.
That's a nice photo.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Portrait. The one of her holding the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got loads of different
Yeah.
really good photos and photos that I love. It's hard to pick a favorite one just in general, but I would probably say my Black Lives Matter one for sure.
How, like, did you like shooting sports? No? Because I've been thinking about, like, I've been thinking about wanting to just, like, try different kinds of shooting things. Different, like me. I've never shot sports before, for video.
For video, it's cool.
You think so?
Yeah. No, I like it for video. But because, like, the biggest thing for me with photography is telling a story.
Yeah. It's hard with sports, I would imagine.
It's hard with sports.
Yeah.
And some people can do it really well. And it's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as a photographer, you have to kind of be honest with yourself. Sports is not... I'm good at taking a photograph, and I can take a photograph that other people may be able to see a story in. But if I can't see the story...
It's hard for you.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
But for video, you can tell a lot more of a story.
Totally.
There's a lot more emotion in there. There's a lot more of stuff, and you can add music and add so many different layers to video that you can't do with photography.
Yeah. Totally.
And so I think for video, I think you'd enjoy sports.
Yeah.
Especially if you've enjoyed this documentary we made.
Yeah.
I think
that was the reason why I thought about it. Just as like I never even thought about like being the sideline guy holding a 24/7 and shooting. Yeah. So
it's fun.
Yeah.
For video, for sports, I'm not a fan.
For photography. Yeah.
But I definitely say try everything.
Yeah.
I've never really tried landscape.
Yeah.
And or necessarily wildlife.
Is
I've done a
that-
little bit, but not much.
Like, obviously, like your stepdad does that, like that, like a super high level. But like, I would imagine that that's like a difficult thing to do, like where you're from. Do you know what I mean? How are you going to do landscape photography
he
or
doesn't do
wildlife
that.
photography in London? But like, how would you, as like,
Pictures of pigeons.
yeah, exactly.
But to be fair, right? If you ask me, and here's a controversial. It's not a controversial statement, but like street photography, taking pictures of people on the street, is wildlife photography.
Sure.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah, one's just harder to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept to me.
Totally. Yeah.
I probably don't need the cameras that they need. I don't need to take 50,000 frames a second.
Mm-hmm. Or you don't need 400 millimeters of zoom either.
No.
Yeah.
But it's the same idea. But no, he travels the world.
Yeah.
He goes everywhere. He takes my mum with him now, and my mum is now a wildlife photographer too. My mum's insane, by the way.
Yeah.
My mum's photography.
Yeah, you
is
showed us the
amazing.
elephant photo, right?
Yeah.
The elephant photo is unreal.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from my stepdad. My stepdad's amazing too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's taught her. I've tried to teach her a little bit, but she hasn't done much. But ever since she started, she's been amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the photos she comes out with, I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm like jealous that she gets to go to these places, and do all of this. But it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like, my mum is this great of a photographer.
Yeah.
And what's funny is she still asks me the most basic questions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I still don't think she quite understands. I mean, no, she definitely understands the aperture and all those stuff now. But she was taking great photos before she completely understood that.
Mm-hmm.
And still in manual mode.
Yeah.
I just don't know if she's just like, she's blindly looking through the EVF, just
Right.
switching things. But no, her photos are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Great.
Yeah, that's crazy. Some people are just got it like that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure.
Yeah. Some people, they're just like, they don't even have to know.
Mm.
They don't have to know how the camera works. They don't have to know like what artistic forms they're kind of like going for.
Yeah.
You know, some people just push the shutter and it works.
Exactly. But I think it comes from a lot of things though. I think photography is so impacted by other aspects of people's lives and what they do. My mum was a dancer, a very good dancer. So I think, there's a creativity in that, which I think helps. And then there's little things. She's got really good handwriting. And I think that makes a big difference. And that makes an impact on the kind of photography you do. My mum's photography is very clean. Mine is not. I like it kind of dirty because I've got crap handwriting too.
Yeah.
And so I think little things like that make a difference. And I can always tell who's going to be a good photographer and who's not. I don't know if that's a thing anyone else can do, but I'm usually right.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So I think, depending on what you've gone through, I think if you're a very creative person, a good storyteller, just in general, just when you're having conversations, you're kind of good at photography.
Yeah.
I can't draw. I can't paint. And when I tell you I can't, I'm not one of those people that says I can't, and then you look at my work and it's like, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I genuinely cannot.
That's exactly
I am so bad. It's terrifying.
unbelievable. Yeah.
And I'd love art. And I'd love to be good at it, but I'm not, and so I stick with the photography.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how it is with like me and video. Video is like one of the first things that I ever did in my life that I was like good at.
Mm.
I was like, all right,
Yeah.
sticking with this. Yeah.
And that's the thing is like you find one and then you're like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
And I found photography very young, and then I got bored of photography, and I was like, well, I want to do video now.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a director. I wanted to be a movie creator. I wanted to make movies and have red carpet shows and all that stuff. And then
Could still pull it out with the screening. We can get a red carpet.
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Overnight that thing on Amazon.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, I kind of gravitated back to photography now. I love it. I love it so much, and I'm so thankful for photography. I'm so thankful for all of that. I think it's taught me a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's sick. It's so sick to do something that you like to do.
I know.
It's such an undervalued thing, especially in the States. Nobody does stuff
Yeah.
that they want to do.
And
I
I
don't know
think-
if it's the same over there, but
No, I think it's more so in England.
really.
Everything's so busy. People are just doing what they want to do, and I think that's why I don't necessarily want to go professional.
Mm-hmm.
Professional, and just do that as my job. I just think it'll take away from my escape.
Yeah, I get it.
My time.
Yeah.
Of going out and taking photos. So I don't know if I want to lose
Mhm.
that. I'm happy to do another job. I'm happy to do the regular 9 to 5, and a good job at that, to allow me to have more time to go and take photos. So I think that's always come first to me, is that I provide for myself and or my girlfriend or family one day in the future. And photography is my little escape,
Yeah.
and I think that's important to keep that.
Yeah, some kind of that.
Unless you are, like I know I know this is what I want to do as my job.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys seem like the kind of guys that I think it would really thrive in a media community and in that workspace. And I think you totally should.
Yeah.
Because with video, there's so many aspects. I mean, you're talking about like so many different things. You haven't got the time to do that in your free time
Yeah.
if you've got another job.
Mm.
And I think you guys would still love it.
Yeah.
Because there's like the projects are more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I think with photography, if I want to do a project, I go out, shoot one day. Next day, lines, crap, can't do it. Next day, lines, crap, can't do it. And then you go away, and it's not this continuous story that you're making. Whereas video, it's like, okay, I filmed this day. Next day, I'm going to go film again. Oh, lights, crap. Well, let me edit that. You can always do something with it.
Yeah.
And with photography, you can't.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference as to why I just don't want to be a living photographers, and that's what I work for.
Yeah.
But I still want to make projects. I still want to make books and
Totally. Yeah.
stuff like that.
I think it's difficult too with photography to differentiate between like what you want to do for fun with photography versus like professional. Whereas with video, it's easier, I feel like,
Yeah.
to differentiate between the two, because it's like the kind of video projects that you do that you get paid for are not the kind of videos that you want to make for fun. You know what I
No,
mean?
exactly.
Like I'm not trying. I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to shoot like Talking Caddy interview videos with B-roll for fun very often. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah.
Hey, we had fun doing that.
We did.
That was good fun.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever they're not talking about basketball and they're talking about like their sales reports, it gets to be a little bit
no,
less
fair
fun.
enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The corporate stuff is never something I'd ever want to do.
Yeah.
Although it's so lucrative.
Yeah, it's a bag for videographers.
Oh my god! And photographers.
Yeah,
You
for
do
photographers,
company
headshots and stuff.
headshots.
Yeah,
Pay $50 a headshot.
yeah,
You got a company with 200 people in it.
yeah. Charge them an extra 50 for edits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, easy,
Yeah.
easy money. And the good thing is as a photographer, if you have any kind of work whatsoever and they know you know how to use a camera, you can get those jobs.
yeah,
You don't need a massive portfolio full of headshots to get a headshot job
yeah,
Yeah.
at all.
yeah. It's similar with video.
I took this school's headshot.
Oh yeah,
And they were like, here you go, here's a backdrop and a studio. I was like, screw that, let's go outside.
yeah.
And I went outside and they paid me, it's the smallest amount of money ever. That's because I'm in college.
Right.
But there's laws about how much money I can make in this country. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about that too at the beginning. Yeah.
Which sucks for me.
I can imagine, especially as somebody who's like into camera gear.
I know.
Scrolling on B&H, you just get sad.
Oh, it genuinely hurts my soul. I have so many things I need to save up for, but I also need to save up for like a life.
Yeah, sure.
I'm the same way. I'm in the same boat
Like,
right now.
I want so much stuff. I
Yeah.
want so much camera gear and all this stuff. And my
yeah,
girlfriend looks at me
I'm-
like, we
Right.
need a place to live.
Yeah.
We can
I'm
live
in
in
the
the black-
right, if
same
it-
place because there's like gear that I need, you
Yeah.
know, because I'm like if I want to be anything, you know, in the creative field,
Yeah.
like I need a camera, you know,
feel
like
like,
a
yeah.
good camera. I need lenses, I need mics, I need lights, I need all the stuff,
Pelican
you know,
case.
and
True.
and then it's like but I also like want to get married, you know, and
And
have
I want food.
and have a
Yeah.
house. Yeah, I want to
Like,
eat.
but Bojangles.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's, I think, is this was funny though, is that like you need, it's a 50-50 of what you decide to go down. And if you are trying to make it professionally, you have to go down that route.
Have to.
Mhm.
You have to. And to all the people and all the photographers that say you don't need a good camera to take good pictures, is it not funny that all of the best photographers in the world have got the best cameras?
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see, I mean, like, if that was the case, you'd have the best photographers in the world.
No.
The truly talented photographers.
Shooting on iPhone. Yeah. Or like Android phone if they were
Right.
really talented.
And let's be honest, right? Now, if you're trying, if you're trying to make it big, you're not going in there with a digicam.
No. Or like a Super 8.
Yes. No, I do agree that the best camera for your situation, for any situation, is the camera you've got closest to you. The camera you got in your hands. Because it's always better to just get the image than not get the image. And you can always make something out of an image, regardless of how crap the image is.
Especially with
Yeah.
how good phones are now too.
Yes, but if I said to you, what's going to be a better image if you have your iPhone in your pocket or you have a Canon 1DX Mark III in your pocket, if you could get it in your pocket,
Those are some big pockets.
or you had this in your pocket,
Yeah.
which one are you going to get a better picture out of?
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, probably the iPhone.
So to make it, you need at least one good camera, but cameras ain't cheap.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Cameras ain't
But they are cheaper.
Cheaper
You
now.
can
Yeah.
get some serious camera for like
for
like a decent
For sure.
decent price.
And then you need a new lens.
Mhm.
True. Yeah, true.
And then once you get better, you realize, well, actually, there's features on this new camera that I
Totally.
need now that my skill level is better.
Mhm.
So now I got to spend this. So now you spend double,
That's true.
right?
So,
And
but
so-
you'll make it back in a shoot. Camera guy math. You know what I
see,
mean?
exactly. And that's what I always say.
Yeah.
And that's what my girlfriend always gets mad at me. And she's like, we need a place to live. Well, we
Yeah.
need to save up all this money. And I'm like, I'll make it back in a photo.
Yeah.
I'll do one photo and I'll make it back.
Yeah. I'll
That's
make it
not
back in
true.
one afternoon.
Do you know what I mean? But it's so not true. Especially since now I'm not getting paid for photography.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could if
So-
you wanted to. You could shoot
If
people's
I
graduation
wanted to,
photos and turn.
But that's the problem. I don't want to. She knows I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, that's a different
But
situation.
it's not a conversation we've had very in depth. So I'm kind of.
Good move. Just spin moving it.
Listen, I don't. In America, I'm not allowed a job, so I don't have any money to spend on this stuff right now.
Yeah.
When I go back to England, I'm going to have a job. Then that's when I'll have the conversation. I'll have the conversation with my girlfriend. Is when my Leica Q3 turns up.
For $12,000.
When that turns up,
Yeah.
I'll say, "Listen,
Mhm.
it is what it is."
Yeah. It was on sale.
She's like, "It's 3% off, right?"
Yeah.
Because it's got a scratch in the red.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know how that conversation is going to go when I start spending stupid money. When I get adult money, proper adult money that's consistently coming into my bank account.
Yeah.
What I might buy.
Yeah, B&H, their stock's going up.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I really want a Leica.
Yeah.
Really want one. I'd love one. Who wouldn't love a Leica? But Christ, they're so expensive.
I know, and no mic jack.
But you know what's crazy? But I don't need video. But you know what's funny? With as expensive as they are, if you put the money in my account, if I had the money in my account, I'd still buy it.
Yeah.
They don't do anything. They are actually some of the worst cameras ever.
But they take
But
photos.
they're so good.
Yeah.
They've got no buttons.
No.
They've got no functions.
Nope.
The new M11 doesn't do video.
Yeah.
Flat out does not do video. Hasn't got an OVF.
Yeah.
But it hasn't got a EVF.
But it takes beautiful photos.
But the photos that come out of that thing are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the sad thing about Leica nowadays is because Leica's on the rise again. A lot of street photographers, a lot of people are like, wow, now these Leicas are getting good. These Leicas are good. Like, they haven't always been good. They just came out with the Q3, which has got a flip screen.
Uh-oh.
So these street photographers are loving it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's my excuse to get a Leica now. And so they get one, and then you get crap photographers that have got money that are now getting these Q3s and are taking crap photos.
Yeah, of course they are.
Which is good, because hopefully the stock of the
Q3
price of the Q3 goes up.
Yeah.
But they also don't lose their value like us.
No.
So you get a second-hand one, it's still pretty much the same price. And even if they took 50% off it, 50% off, still very expensive.
Yeah. Very.
So, and also I wouldn't know which Leica to get. I think I'd get the M11. Interchangeable lenses.
A lot of options.
But if I didn't care about the lens change,
I don't think you would with a Leica.
you're talking about being stuck at 28mm.
Yeah, boo-hoo. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. I'm stuck at 50mm right now. I haven't got a second lens for that. Need to go get one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide between the 28 and the 35.
So, like, 28 millimeter, like, equivalents?
Equivalents.
So, I would get 35. I love 35.
What do you think?
That's a 50, right?
It's technically like a 52, something like that. But yeah, it's a 50.
I mean, I'm probably going 35 too, but
See, I think I'm leaning 35.
Yeah.
But I see some of the photos that come out of a 28mm, and for street photography, they're nice.
I know, just it really just depends on what you want to do with it.
Could just get both, you know? Could just get both.
You're like the guy on my shoulder that's like,
Yeah, I am. You'll make it back. Don't worry.
but will I? I don't. Yeah, my next paycheck.
Here's the thing. You can make it back.
I can,
You
but I
can
won't.
Make it back. Well, but that's up to you.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. That's up to you.
But no, no. When did you get into photography?
College. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my first semester in college, I took a photography class, and just like I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never had a camera before, and so whenever I did my photography class, it was like you got to bring your own camera, and it was the professor. He was like so cool, and so like I didn't have a digital camera, and I was in a digital photography class, and he was like, I guarantee if you go to anybody in your family, like just somebody, then somebody has a digital camera that they'll like let you have or like let you borrow for a semester of college. And so I went, I started asking around. My uncle had a camera, and so I started shooting on it. And I mean, it's like not the best, but it's not the worst. And I mean,
photography's great. I think if you just try photography, I think I've never met anyone that tries photography and goes, "Oh, I hate this."
Yeah, and I think
it's one
like
of those things you can hate.
For me, it was more of like this is kind of the first art form that I like fell in love with, because like if I go to like a museum, you know, like I'm not attracted to like the sculptures, like I'm not attracted to the paintings, like I'm attracted to the photos, you know.
Yeah.
And so like that's always been a thing for me, and so like.
Do you have a favorite photographer?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. But I don't know. Like watching documentaries about like photographers is so much fun for me. Like I love doing that. And yeah, like in the photography class, we talked like a whole bunch about like the history of photography, and I love learning about that, and just like how like touchable it was, like even at the beginning, you know, like cameras weren't that expensive. It was like people were quitting their jobs as farmers and like opening photo studios. Like I think that's so sick. You know, like imagine like taking your family to like a photo studio and it's like a wooden shack and it's like the dude who's taking your picture is like in overalls. You know, I think that's like the coolest thing.
That's how I'm gonna make the money back on my Lightroom stick.
In London.
I don't know. I fell in love with it. Like just learning about it and taking pictures and stuff. And like making stories out of images, I think is so sick.
Yeah.
Making a series of images make sense is like the coolest thing for me.
No, for sure. But even not making a series. Like a lot of the time you tell a story with just one photo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean that's difficult. But the easiest way is to do it with a series. But I mean, trying to look for a story in each photo, and I always wondered like, well, people say story. What do you mean by story? Because a photo doesn't tell you the beginning, middle, and end, right? Like of something, unless you're unbelievably lucky.
Yeah.
But I think I realized that the story is like, does the photo ask questions? You know what I mean? Like, does it say, well, who is that? Does someone go, look at your photo and go, oh, who's that? Because then you've just got intrigue and then your photo's good. That's what I judge a good photo on, is like, oh, who is that? Oh, what is that? Or where'd that happen? When? Whatever, right? Like I think when is one of the most insane things to get out of a camera. If you can get someone to ask, when was that taken in the context of like, which century or which decade? That's such a cool idea, right? If you're in 2023 and you take a picture and someone goes, was that taken in like the 60s? I mean, you have to get so unbelievably lucky for that, but like,
right,
that's a really cool thing to me. So I think that's the story. I think that's what people mean by stories, or at least my interpretation of what people mean by stories. But no, photography's, it's a magical thing, photography. And when that button clicks, and I don't just mean this one, that was a pun, but when it like snaps in you, that it's like, oh crap. Or the first time you take a good photo.
Yeah,
I remember that feeling.
I think that's the craziest thing. That is the craziest thing, because photography for me is so much different than videography. Like I love videography and I love photography, and I honestly think that I probably love them equally. But it's like the mindset is so much different. Whenever I'm holding the camera, like out taking photos, rather than whenever I'm holding the camera taking videos, it's like completely different. And so like you can like get a shot, you know, like if you're doing video work, you can get a shot and you can be like, that is a shot, you know, that is incredible, but it doesn't feel the same whenever you get a photo. And you're like, man, that's a photo. Or whenever you get it in Lightroom, Photoshop, and you edit it, and then you like show somebody, and they're like, wow.
Hey, that's just such a good feeling. And that's better than any likes or comments on Instagram.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
it's just showing one person, them going, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, and I think that is when it kind of clicked in photography class that I was like a decent photographer. You know, is whenever I would like we would do our projects and we'd get it together and we'd show them, and people would be like, wow, like those are really good, and like wow, these photos make so much sense together, you know, like stuff like that. That is just like, it's the coolest.
I told
thing.
you, it felt so good when you loved my seagull photo.
Yeah,
that's a great photo. Do you know what photo people always get? I always get credit for, not credit, praise for. It's the photo of the stairs.
Oh yeah, you showed us that.
I love the photo.
It's a sick photo.
But I when I took it, I was like, that's all right.
It's just crispy.
It's just to me,
it's the light for me.
The light
is so good.
Yeah, it's a good photo.
It's very fine art.
Yeah, it is very fine
style.
art. Yeah.
Which I kind of want to get into. Have you heard of Alan Schaller?
I don't think so.
Do you like black and white photography?
Yeah.
Look up Alan Schaller. He's so good. He's so funny. His YouTube is wild and does not match his photography whatsoever. His photography is just black and white, pure black, pure white, and it's just like silhouettes. It's so good. And he's such a colourful person. He's such a bubbly, funny person. But his photography is insane. I can't remember where I was going with that. What was I talking about just before that? Oh wow, we're all lost.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But no, I think going back to where you were about photography just snapping. I think I was lucky enough that photography just snapped on that first day for me. First day, I was like, I just looked in the back of the camera. I was like, oh my god, that's insane. And I think from there, you'll never fall out of love with photography.
Yeah.
You might get a little bit bored with photography if that's all you do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's absolutely fine. I think it's good for sometimes just to take a break from everything you do. Get the creative juices kind of flowing a little bit more without a camera or anything in your hand.
Yeah. Yeah, doing something different.
Yeah.
Creatively, that's different.
I get my best photo ideas and ideas for a picture, which is really hard to do when doing street photography of people. Is to plan that. I get the best ideas when the camera is not in sight. When the camera's nowhere near me and I'm just got a free mind. If I'm holding my camera, I'm thinking about stupidly. I'm thinking about settings and photometry and all that crap.
That's super interesting because, like, as somebody who's mostly a videographer, whenever I'm shooting, I'm never thinking about any of that. All I'm thinking about is, like, what am I going to do with this in the edit? It's all I'm thinking about. So I'm not thinking about the settings. I look at the histogram, make sure it looks good. I make sure the focus is whatever I want it to be set on, and I just shoot. And I'm just thinking about how I'm going to use it in the edit. That's all I'm thinking about.
Well, yeah, that's where videography is different. Because whenever you make a video, you have to shoot with the edit in mind.
Because a clip means nothing.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, But I also think with videography is like you can change a moment
Completely.
So if you have a minute long clip, you can change the photo. You can just use the last 10 seconds, use the first 10 seconds. With photography, it's like you
don't have that choice.
You don't have that choice. You have to get it right. And I think because I did film for so long, or for a while, I have to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that moment's not coming back, and it's not like I can tell. So I think that, like, then translated into this, it's like, well, I'm not saying that every time I click the button or I'm walking around the streets that I'm thinking about the settings, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm out here, all the lights changed a little bit, let me click this one, let me click that one. And so I'm not thinking about ideas, and that's all I really want to think about when I'm out shooting. So that's something I'm trying to learn. I'm messing around with aperture priority right now and trying to get that down. But I have a weird style of shooting anyway. I shoot like a film camera on that thing.
Yeah.
Like, I shoot f8 pretty much only.
That checks out though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, looking at it, yeah. But I shoot at f8 and I zone focus.
Yeah.
Like I rarely use the autofocus because it's got a built-in zone focusing thing on the back, and I want to get a Voigtlander lens with the actual
focus ring
on the front. I think that'd be well fun.
Yeah, just with the camera like that.
Yeah, and I still have my Minolta lenses, so I might just buy a mount.
Yeah.
And get that one.
Yeah.
So
be sick.
I think that's gonna do this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I keep trying to eat my cookies, and I always feel bad.
Yeah. You can call them what they're actually called if you want.
Biscuits.
Yeah, sure they are. Yeah, every photo that Kane talked about is in the description, so click the link down there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We've been talking to Kane for 2 hours now.
Oh wow, it really has been.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. And yeah, check his stuff out. He's the best photographer I've ever met. I mean, for real.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
You need to meet some more people.
Well, we live in Salisbury. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys.